Whenever I slow down enough to craft, I notice how much we reveal without even meaning to. The colors we choose, the pieces we save, the ones we almost throw away. Today's little Dephemerember project made me think a lot about how we hold our place in life while also staying honest with ourselves. And somehow that led me to creating a very oversized corner bookmark. Let's see where this takes us. Hello my crafty friend, and welcome back to Diary of a Creative Therapist. We are wrapping up another week of Dephemerember 2025, beautifully hosted by Barbara from 49 Dragonflies and Luise Heinzel, and filled with tiny ephemera pieces made from simple prompts. I'm starting with the envelopes we altered earlier this week, and the one I reached for is the one that had a bit of a mishap. The clear film came off completely, leaving this open little window. And instead of hiding it or throwing it out, today it becomes the perfect base for something new. Then I have this clear bag of dried leaves. They were in the package from Jem at Jem's Creative Space, my lovely swap partner for this year. And I thought maybe I can do something out of the two of these and see if I can get them together to create a bookmark. So let's see if I would like to have this as a bookmark. Maybe I need to cut it down to size. Usually, I know bookmarks are these tiny little ones, like rectangular, like slim spaces. I don't want something like that. I would like to have a large one. So I'm grabbing my paper cutter and just cut the envelope to size so that it is a little bit shorter than the page of my junk journal planner. Yeah, I think I like it that way. Here's the little clear packaging bag of dried leaves from Jem. It is such a gentle material. The leaves look so beautifully delicate, but also so safe in this little transparent pouch. And I placed the bag behind the empty window. Something clicks. It feels symbolic, a giant bookmark that holds your place and at the same time reveals just enough of what is inside. It's a mix of holding and showing, a soft kind of honesty, and I love that. This is not the usual skinny strip you tuck between pages. This is a big, generous bookmark that hugs the corner and almost becomes a second page of its own. I like the idea of something that stays with you like that, a little companion, or actually a very large companion that says, here, this is where you left off. Come back whenever you are ready. And emotionally, I think we all need that sometimes, a gentle placeholder inside us, a way to pause without losing our story. Now I'm shifting the leaves around in the pouch. This part reminds me of the small internal adjustments we make in ourselves. Not the big changes, but the tiny nudges. A little more space here, a slight shift there, just enough for something to feel right. And the more closely I look at the leaves through the window, the more I think about how transparency with ourselves is often like this too. Not exposure, not confession, just letting ourselves see the truth of what sits inside us. So once the leaves sit just right, I use a bit of sellotape to hold everything in place before sewing. It is temporary, but it makes the next step easier. And I think that it is a lovely metaphor for boundaries, actually. Not every boundary has to be permanent. Sometimes we just need a bit of structure while we figure things out. A little support while we sew ourselves into something sturdier. And here comes the stitching. I sew around the window 3 times and the lines are intentionally a bit wonky. I actually love the way the imperfection creates a frame that feels soft and alive. The leaves are now held safely behind the window and the stitches feel like little stories looping around them. This slow repetition always makes me think of the quiet inner work people do. It is rarely tidy, rarely linear, but it holds, it strengthens, and layer by layer, something becomes clearer. Next, I sew around the outer edge of the envelope to turn it into that big corner bookmark. 2 sides get stitched shut so it can slip over a journal page like a little jacket. And I love how it feels in my hands, substantial and present, almost like another page of the journal. It's funny how something meant to simply hold your place can end up taking up so much space in a beautiful way. A reminder that pausing has weight too. It matters. It takes up room in our lives, and that is allowed. Alright, now I'm pulling out a few pieces from my free printable December junk journal planner kit, and I think this big flower might be exactly what this bookmark needs. I love how it looks against the brown sewing pattern envelope. The paper already has that warm vintage feel and the color just softens it in the nicest way. It's funny how certain colors seem to settle into each other, almost like they exhale when they are put together. On the back, I'm adding these 2 little Christmas balls. They are small and cheerful. I find they are a beautiful nod to the season. And while I'm placing them down, I'm thinking about how often that happens in real life too. How something gentle can sit beside something a bit more worn or complicated. And suddenly, both feel more balanced. Not fixed, not transformed, just supported by each other. It's the same feeling I get in the therapy room sometimes when someone brings in something heavy and then suddenly remembers something kind or hopeful. Those 2 things can sit together. They don't cancel each other out. They make space for each other. And these Christmas balls somehow remind me of that today. Decorating this big bookmark feels different from decorating a normal one. Because it's not just a narrow strip that disappears between pages. This one actually holds a whole journaling spot. When you slip it over a page, it almost becomes part of the story. And maybe that's why I'm enjoying this so much. It feels like I'm tending to the place where I might pause later, preparing a small, soft landing for myself. I'm realizing lately how important those landing places are. We don't always notice how much our minds are trying to carry until something inside us quietly says, "Can we stop for a second?" And I think that's what this bookmark represents for me today. Not a stop sign, just a gentle arm around the shoulder saying, "You can rest here, you won't lose your place." So as I glue everything down, I'm paying attention to the small details. The curve of the balls, the texture of the sewing pattern lines underneath, the way the colors shift depending on how the light hits them. Little things, but grounding things. And you know, there's something I see often in therapy that shows up here too. We underestimate how much the small, steady moments matter. Not the breakthroughs, not the big shifts, just the quiet checking in with ourselves, like today. Me making this oversized bookmark out of an envelope that had a bit of an accident. Even that feels like a reminder. We can work with what didn't go as planned. Sometimes that's where the most meaningful pieces come from. So, the Christmas balls on the back adds such a gentle touch, almost like a whisper saying, keep a little warmth for yourself, okay? I like that. It's simple, but it feels true. So, while I smooth the last little corner from the flower down here, what stays with me is the feeling of permission. Permission to pause, permission to come back when I'm ready, permission to mark a moment without having to make sense of it right away. And that's what this bookmark will do inside the journal. Hold the place, not rush me forward, not drag me back, just keep it safe until the next time I sit down with myself, ready to journal, ready to reflect on whatever is important to me. And here it is, a big, gentle bookmark that slips over a page corner, almost becoming a page itself. Inside it holds leaves, outside it holds flowers and color. And somewhere in between, the clear packaging holds a tiny reminder to be honest and caring with ourselves, to keep our place without forcing the story, to pause without disappearing, to let our inner window stay clear enough to see what matters. Thank you so much for crafting with me today. I hope you will have a wonderful day, and I will see you again for the next Dephemerember prompt.